Welcome to our channel. Today our topic is sonnet. We all know sonnet, it is a type of poetic lines. For example, we have a poem. What is poem? In that division, what is sonnet? We have a what is sonnet. Okay. What is a sonnet? We know that for sonnet, it has a 14-line lyric poem. So it has 14 lines. The paragraph, we don't have any paragraph or anything. It starts from first line and it ends with 14th line. And in sonnet we have a complicated rhyme scheme. We have a rhyme scheme in sonnet. With that rhyme scheme we can identify what type of sonnet it is. Yes, it is a 14 line and it has a complicated rhyme scheme. And it means, we can say it means a little song in Italian. For example, what is meant by sonnet means in Italian language, it is a little song, it seems. Little song, they name little song as a sonnet in Italy. And it is defined in structure. Sonnet means, for example, each and every types of poem, it has some structure, isn't it? Sonnet also have a structure. It is defined by the structure. We can say it is a sonnet. So these are all a sonnet. What is a sonnet? And these are all perfect answer to the sonnet. Okay, now we will go how the sonnet comes and its origin we need to discuss. Sonnet comes from the Italian word sonetto, which means little song. We already saw that is a little song in Italian language means that is a sonnet, sonetto. Francisco Petrarch, the 13th century Italian Renaissance poet, created the first form of sonnet. So who created the Francisco Petrarca? And the Italian sonnet is also called Petrarchian sonnet because which was founded by Petrarch, so it is named as a Petrarchian sonnet. His second canzoniere inspired English writers to adapt this style of writing. He taught Sir Thomas Wyatt, a famous English sonneteer, this form. Italian sonnet are full of love and passion. So Petrarch only has introduced the sonnet. So we name the Italian sonnet or Petrarchian sonnet. And this must be inspired by some English writers, isn't it? So the writer is Sir Thomas Wyatt, a famous English sonneter. The form, and then Italian sonnets are full of love and passion. We can see that Italian sonnet discuss the love and passions in the poems. So it is a origin of sonnet and how it comes and what is from which language it comes and who introduced the sonnet, and we name Italian sonnet. The other name is a Petrarchian sonnet. Yes. Next, we need to know the stimulation. Yes, Italian Renaissance, a period of rebirth where classical art, literature, architecture and learning. So that is a period in Italy. In Italy, during the Renaissance period only, they have given importance to the classical art and literature, architecture and learning. And women are seen as unattainable and virtuous beauties. During those days, women were considered as very, very beautiful in nature. So what happened? The love has come. So to express or to explain their beauty, they have started to write the poem. The Platonic love, friendly or unrequired love from Plato's philosophy of three different loves. Love and passion were big themes and inspiration for art. Petrarch fell in love with Laura, who did not require his feelings, discussed his love for her. So Petrarch fell in love with Laura. So to express his love, he started to write some poem that is like it is in the form of sonnet. He expressed his love through the form of sonnet in a poem that comes under in the form of sonnet. So during Renaissance period only this sonnet becomes very, very popular. Especially, Petrarch fell in love with Laura, who did not requite his feelings, discussed his love for her. Because she did not, she did not know the feeling of Petrarch. So he started to write a poem in the form of sonnet. Structure of the Italian sonnet. So, first we know that in Italy only the sonnet was formed. They have some structure. It has a 14-line poem and divided into 2 stanzas. That is, the first stanza is an octave. We all know that octave is a 8 lines. When it is 8 lines, we name it as a octave, and we can say 2 quatrains, like 4 lines. Octave rhyme scheme is ABBA, ABBA. And second stanza is a sestet. Sestet is nothing but a stanza of 6 lines. Sestet rhyme scheme is CDE, CDE or CD, CD, EE. They may change, but in the octave rhyme scheme, it will not change. It comes only ABBA, ABBA. But sestet rhyme scheme can be changed CDE, CDE or CD, CD, EE. Like that, it can change. And the turn must occur between the octave and the sestet. So after octave, that is after 8 lines, they have some changes. The next to that line, the turn. So the turn, we have first 8 lines will say something about some, it will express something, and in next 6 line it will turn. Automatically it will turn the topics or the theme, it will change. So this is the 14 line and octave, sestet, and the rhyme scheme of Italian sonnet. So Italian sonnet rhyme scheme is ABBA, ABBA, CDE, CDE. And the octave or first stanza present the reader about a problem or an argument. If it is discussing about a problem or an argument, then the sestet or a second stanza offer a solution to deal with the problem. First, if they are explaining about the problem or argument, in the second stanza, it will give the solution to how to deal with that problem. So, the 8th or 9th line is where the volta or turn occurs. Because up to 8th line, it is speaking about something, isn't it? And then in the 9th, from 9th line, it will change. So, it may 8th or 9th line, the line in where the volta or turn occurs. The turn of thought, we can say it is as a turn of thought. It means one, if they are speaking about a one thought, after in the second stanza it will change. So the changing line, it is called a volta. The turn makes a shift from the problem to the solution. Problem or argument deal with love or passion. So it is the definition of volta and where it occurs, volta or a turn of thoughts, and we know that octave, sestet, and how it may turn and what are the things have taken place, how the problem and solutions may occur. So these are all problem, turn and resolution. So this is the important structure of the sonnet. Particularly, this is the important structure of Italian sonnet. We are speaking about the Italian sonnet. So this is the form and structure of Italian sonnet. Okay, next, syllabification. All sonnets were in iambic pentameter. Iambic pentameter is a rhythm or a meter which has a 5 feet. Iamb refers to the beat that has unstressed and stressed syllable sound. A foot is the combination of a unstressed and stressed syllable. So unstressed after the stress comes means it is the iambic, iamb. A foot is a combination of an unstressed and stressed syllable, always in the order. Penta is 5. We all know that penta is 5. Line has 5 feet. Total of 10 syllables per line. So in a line, it has a 10 syllable, but 2 syllable, a combination of syllable, that is unstressed and stressed, will become iamb. So how many iamb? 5 iamb. So it becomes iambic pentameter. So all sonnets are written in iambic pentameter. Usually sonnets were written in iambic pentameter and the rhyme scheme, it will follow the rhyme scheme. So here iambic pentameter is a rhythm or a meter which has a 5 feet. Okay, see, I am means each and everything it has difference. For example, I am means in a particular word it will start with unstressed syllable and ends with stressed. Unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed. Like this combination only we name it as a I am. So here a foot is a combination of unstressed and stressed syllable. Like this it will comes in a 5 times. So it is named as a iambic pentameter. Okay, we saw the Italian sonnet. Now we will come to Shakespearean sonnet. In English, both the English or a Shakespearean sonnet and the Italian Petrarchan sonnets are traditionally written in iambic pentameter. A variant on the English form is the Spenserian sonnet named after Edmund Spenser, in which the rhyme scheme is AB, AB, BC, BC, CD, CD, E, E. The linked rhymes of his quatrains suggest the linked rhymes of such Italian forms as terza rime. This is an example. This is taken from Amorotti. Okay, see, in English we have two types of sonnet. Surrey, White and Surrey only introduced the sonnet to English, but Shakespearean sonnet, we have a Shakespearean sonnet and we have a Spenserian sonnet. We will discuss something about a Shakespearean sonnet in next slide. We will see the Spenserian sonnet. Spenserian sonnet comes after the name of Edmund Spenser. Edmund Spenser have his own rhyme scheme, that is a AB, AB, BC, BC, CD, CD, E, E. Always his sonnet or written like in this form, in this rhyme scheme form. And then a rhyme scheme of such Italian forms as terza rime. He followed a terza rime. This example is from Amorotti. He followed in Amorotti this terza rime and this rhyme scheme. So it becomes as a Spenserian sonnet. The sound of iambic pentameter, not like the brazen giant of Greek fame in this line, no underline unstressed and underlined or stressed. So unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stress, unstressed, stress, unstressed, stress, unstressed, stress. So like this, how many syllable we have? 10 syllable we have. Where do you hear the stress? You can the underlined or stressed one. So like this only pentameter means 5 times this unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed. The pair will comes in a 5 times. 5 means penta. So penta means pentameter, iambic pentameter. So this is the basic pattern of sonnet. Okay, and we come to know that Petrarch were introduced the sonnet, and Italian, we can name it as a Italian sonnet, and the sonnet comes to England by White and Surrey. From them, what happens? Shakespeare English sonnet, that is English sonnet. We have a Shakespearean sonnet and we have a Spenserian sonnet. Two types of sonnet we have in English sonnet, and we know that example of Spenserian sonnet is from Amorotti and his rhyme scheme we saw. So that is called Spenserian sonnet, comes from the name of Edmund Spenser. Okay, so next we will go in a detail of Shakespearean sonnet, and particularly how Shakespeare makes his sonnet and the difference between English sonnet and a Petrarchan sonnet. Here Spenserian sonnet we saw named after Edmund Spenser, a variation of English sonnet, that is a rhyme scheme links the quatrains together. Only rhyme scheme here differs, and here 3 quatrains we have. There we have octave and sestet in Italian sonnet, but here in Spenserian sonnet we have 3 quatrains and 1 couplet. In English sonnet also we have 3 quatrains and 1 couplet, but Spenserian sonnet is differ from English sonnet. Only the rhyme scheme differs. AB, AB, BC, BC, CD, CD, E, E. This is the Spenserian sonnet. We saw the difference between an English sonnet and a Spencerian sonnet, we can see how it differs, because Shakespeare followed an English sonnet, no? Shakespeare rhyme scheme differ from Spencerian rhyme scheme. When we study about a Shakespearean sonnet, we will come to know his rhyme scheme of Shakespearean sonnet. So now you can understand the Spencerian sonnet, how it comes, and the variation of English sonnet and rhyme scheme links the quatrains together. Only the rhyme scheme, see AB, no, that quatrains connected to next quatrains. B, that is a BC, and next to the C ends, no, that quatrains connected to the next quatrain, that is CD, and then the couplet, the quatrains were linked together, only the couplet were separated, that is E. Now the main thing is the rhyme scheme links the quatrains together. It is a very, very important thing in Spencerian sonnet. Next we have a Shakespearean sonnet and how the Shakespearean sonnet structures were developed and how it differ from Italian sonnet and Spencerian sonnet. See here 4 parts, that is a 3 quatrains, 4 lines each. 4 parts we have, that is a 3 quatrains and 4 lines each. You all know that each quatrains consist of 4 lines. So and then followed by a couplet, that is the 2 lines. So altogether how many lines? 14 lines. We have a 3 quatrains, each quatrains 4 lines. 4 3s are 12 and 1 couplet. 1 couplet consists of 2 lines. So it becomes a 14 lines. And the Shakespearean sonnet rhyme scheme is AB, CD, EF, G. AB, CD, EF and G. Shakespearean sonnet ends like this: 3 quatrains and 1 couplet, and each quatrain sets up an image. There in Spencerian sonnet it is linked, isn't it? But in Shakespearean sonnet it is not linked, it is separated one. It sets up an image, it is like an image. Then the couplet gives meaning to the whole work. Only couplet gives the meaning to the whole work. Then the couplet gives meaning to the whole work. Shakespeare has wrote how many sonnet? 154 sonnet, published in his quarto in 1609. Covering themes such as the passage of time, morality, love, and so many themes. So Shakespeare has written how many? 154 sonnet, isn't it? From that sonnet 1 to 17, we name it as a celebrates the beauty of young men and urges him to marry so as to propagate and preserve the beauty. First 1 to 126. 1 to 1. Sonnet 1 to 19, it celebrates the beauty of young man and urges him to marry so as to propagate and preserve the beauty. So this 1 to 17 sonnets, we can name it as a love sonnet or sweet sonnet, because here insisting the young man to get married and to give a birth to the children, because to preserve their beauty. And 18 to 26, its subsequent long sequence focuses on probably the same ideal young man, developing as a dominant motive the transience and destructive power of time, countered only by the force of love and friendship and the permanence of poetry. So from 1 to 126 sonnets, it's were dedicated to the young man who is a friend of Shakespeare, and it can be a WH, the person is, it can be a WH person. And in the 1 to 17 sonnets, here Shakespeare is insisting the to marry and to get to marry and to deliver a children, so that their beauty and their talent will not stop. It will go for next generation. And 18 to 26 is also dedicated to that young man. And from 127 to 154 sonnet, it is a sonnet which is focused on the dark lady as a tempting but degrading object of desire. So some sonnets like 144 intimate a love triangle involving the speaker, the male friend and the woman. Others take note of the rival poet. sometimes identify as George Chapman or Christopher Marlowe. So these are all the division of Shakespeare's sonnet. Totally Shakespeare has written 154 sonnet. In that 154 sonnet, from 1 to 126 sonnets were dedicated to the young man. In that itself it is a divided 1 to 17 and 17 to 126. And here from 127 to 154, these sonnets were dedicated to the dark lady, so-called dark lady. And in that 127 to 154, particularly we can see that 144 sonnet is explaining about the triangle love, that is a triangle love between the speaker, the male friend and the women. So these are all the division of Shakespearean sonnet and how he has written and to whom he dedicated the sonnets, the 154 sonnets. And we come to know the different types of Italian sonnet, Spenserian sonnet and Shakespearean sonnet, and totally how many sonnets were written by Shakespeare. And here we all know that the basic form of sonnet is the iambic pentameter. Shakespeare used of figures of speech such as alliteration, assonance, antithesis, enjambment, metonymy, synecdoche, oxymoron, personification and some internal rhyme. Much more criticism also places a heavy emphasis on the sexual puns and double enters in the sonnet like bloodworm, being both blood and semen, etc. For more on this, please see the commentary for sonnet 75. See, we can see some sonnet in net. We can see that 75, sonnet 12, sonnet 116 and sonnet 59. We can see those things. Analysis we can see. For example, Shakespeare uses of antithesis and synecdoche in sonnet 12 and sonnet 16 and metonymy in sonnet 59. Why I have to please see the commentary I have included means you can go to the net and you can see the commentary or analysis from the net. For example, sonnet 75, sonnet 12, 116 and 59. There we can see how the sonnet were commented by the uses of figures of speech by William Shakespeare. So Shakespeare is very interested to use these figures of speech in his sonnet. In his 154 sonnets, he used many figures of speech, but particularly when we see sonnet 75, sonnet 12, 116 and sonnet 59, it gives a much more interest to read some other Shakespeare's work. And in sonnet 30 also he uses a partial alliterations. And to notice the attention to alliteration and assonance in sonnet 55 and sonnet 55, sonnet 65, 73, sonnet 259, there he uses a personification and extended metaphor. He used some extended metaphor, and in that elaborate metaphor known as conceit, he uses conceit in sonnet 46. And for an example of what many consider to be one of Shakespeare's rare failed metaphors, that is from sonnet 47. He used some rare, that is a failed metaphors. Some metaphors is very popular by Shakespeare, which he used, but this one is a failed one where he used this rare metaphor. We can see in sonnet 47. So these are all the figures of speech used by Shakespeare in his sonnets. And here I have given few sonnets, and you can go and refer in the net, and you can go and refer the analysis of these sonnets to know more about the usage of figures of speech in Shakespeare sonnets. Okay, next. And one more important is, we know that Shakespeare, all the sonnets were written in iambic pentameter, isn't it? But in sonnet 145 alone, we can see it is written in iambic tetrameter. And all the sonnet has 14 lines, isn't it? But in sonnet 99 it has a 15 lines, and sonnet 126 it has only a 12 lines. But even though it is all considered as a sonnet, because it is all comes in the collection of Shakespearean sonnet. That is, all the sonnets were written in 14 lines, all the sonnets were written in iambic pentameter, but except this 99, 126, 145 is different from other sonnets. So these are all the Shakespeare sonnets, and from the next video we will see the sonnets in detail. If you like this explanation, kindly support me by subscribing my channel and comment me in the comment box how my explanation is, and like and share among your friends. Thank you for your patience to listen this video.